I'm 99 years old this year, and after a lifetime of investing, I've accumulated more money than I will ever need. Billions. But if you saw me on the street, you might mistake me for an ordinary old man. No luxury watch, no fancy car, no palace-like mansion. People often ask me, "Charlie, why are you still so frugal? What's the point of making so much money if you don't spend it?" Well, let me tell you a secret that most people never understand in their entire lives. Rich people don't stay rich by spending like rich people. They stay rich by avoiding stupid expenses. Most of the consumption you see today, the logos, the upgrades, the self-rewards, is not enjoyment. It's a trap. It's poverty dressed as luxury. It's merchants harvesting your vanity one receipt at a time. After 99 years, I've learned that the fastest way to destroy wealth is not a bad investment. It is paying the 4 poverty taxes that quietly drain your future. Today, I'm going to show you the 4 things I, despite having billions, never spend a single penny on. Not because I can't afford them, but because spending on them would humiliate my intelligence. If you learn to avoid these 4 traps, your wealth, your freedom, and your future will begin to compound in ways you never imagined. I have lived almost a century, 99 years of watching people chase status, noise, and glitter. And in all that time, there is one thing that has never changed. People mistake spending for intelligence and simplicity for poverty. I find that rather amusing. Yes, I am the vice chair of Berkshire Hathaway. Yes, I have billions of dollars. Yes, I could buy almost anything my eyes land on. A luxury car for each day of the week. A mansion with 50 empty rooms I'd never use. A private chef slicing vegetables I don't even like. But instead, I wake up in the same house I bought more than 60 years ago. It creaks in the winter, smells like old books, and is worth nothing compared to the ideas born inside it. People think that's strange. I think it's sanity. You see, money has never been my master. It has been my instrument, and an instrument is meant to serve you, not seduce you. Most people forget this. They believe wealth is something to display like a peacock tail, but real wealth is something you protect, like a seed that must grow for decades before it gives shade. Let me tell you something that only time can teach. Prosperity ruins more people than poverty ever could. Because when people rise a little, they begin spending a lot. When they earn more, their desires multiply faster than their income. And when their vanity awakens, their bank accounts fall asleep. I've spent a lifetime watching brilliant men defeat themselves with nothing more than upgraded lifestyles. A nicer car here, a bigger house there, a little show-off purchase to feel important, and slowly, quietly, their freedom erodes. When I was young, I lived simply because I had no choice. When I became wealthy, I lived simply because I finally understood choice. And that is the paradox most people never grasp. Simplicity is not deprivation. It is liberation. It frees your time, your mind, and your future. Let me share another truth. Most people don't control their spending. Their spending controls them. It whispers to them like a sly salesman, "You deserve more. You must look successful. You need this to be important." And they obey, receipt after receipt, until they wake up and realize they have traded their long-term freedom for short-term decoration. I never wanted that trade. I never will. People laugh when they see my old suits. They ask why I drive boring cars. They wonder why I don't upgrade my life. Let me answer them here once and for all. Living simply has compounded my happiness more deeply than money ever could. My mind is light, my responsibilities are few, and my wealth, well, it tends to grow quietly in the background because I don't spend for applause. I don't spend for validation. I spend for value. And that's why even with billions, I still live like an ordinary man, not out of frugality, but out of intelligence, not out of scarcity, but out of clarity, not out of fear, but out of freedom. My life is proof that wealth does not come from what you buy. It comes from what you refuse to buy. It comes from saying no to vanity, distraction, noise, and ego. It comes from allowing compound interest, not consumerism, to shape your future. I live simply because it gives me the most luxurious thing of all, a life of my own choosing. When you understand this, truly understand it, you stop chasing a lifestyle and you start building a life. People often assume that wealth disappears through a bad investment, a recession, or a crisis. They're wrong. Most fortunes die quietly, killed by vanity long before the market ever touches them. I call this the face tax, and it is the most expensive tax in human history. Worse still, it's voluntary. People rush to pay it. Look at today's world. Look at the young professional who earns his first decent paycheck. Before he buys a book, a stock, or a bond, he buys a logo. Before he builds an emergency fund, he builds a false image. He carries debt on his back, but a designer bag in his hand. Ask him why. He'll speak nobly about quality of life or rewarding himself. But the truth is simpler and sadder. He wants strangers to mistake him for someone richer than he actually is. People crave the illusion of status more desperately than the substance of wealth. Let me tell you something most people never realize. When you buy a luxury item, its value declines the moment you step out the door. But your vanity, that bill keeps compounding, and it compounds at a devastating rate. A young person once asked me, "Charlie, do rich people really care this little about appearances?" I answered, "No, we care. We just care in a different direction. We care about avoiding stupid expenses." That's the real difference. If you buy a $500,000 car, you don't become richer. You become $500,000 poorer. You turn productive capital into depreciated metal. Instead of owning a soldier that works for you day and night, you now own a pet you must keep feeding. People think showing off makes them look successful. In reality, it makes them look fragile. Only insecure people need to broadcast the illusion of wealth. Real wealth is almost always quiet. Let me share a paradox. When you drive a Ferrari down the street, you imagine people admire you. In reality, they admire themselves, fantasizing how cool they would look driving your car. You are not the protagonist. You are the driver, the background prop. The star of the show is the car, not you. This is why I never spend money to impress anyone. If I need a car to lift my self-esteem, then my self-esteem is already bankrupt. My friend Warren wears the same suit for years. If you saw him alone in a diner, you might assume he's someone's retired uncle visiting town. He couldn't care less. His confidence doesn't come from fabric, leather, or steel. It comes from his mind. And his bank account grows for the same reason. The middle class is especially vulnerable to the face tax. They have just enough money to imitate the rich, but not enough to survive the consequences. They fall into what I call the Diderot spiral. One luxury item infects the whole life. Buy an expensive suit, now you need expensive shoes. Buy the shoes, now your old car looks unworthy. Upgrade the car, Now your neighborhood feels embarrassing. Upgrade the house. Now you need higher-end furniture, and with each upgrade, freedom downgrades. In the end, they own a mountain of nice things, but not a single ounce of peace. I have a rule that has protected me for decades. Before buying something expensive, I ask myself, if no one ever sees this, if I can't post it, flaunt it, or show it, would I still want it? If the answer is no, I walk away, because that purchase was never for me. It was for an audience that doesn't care. Spend for value, not applause. Spend to build wealth, not to display it. And remember, every dollar you waste buying face is a soldier you lose from your army of financial freedom. This is the first and most dangerous poverty tax. Avoid it, and you've already outsmarted half the world. People often assume the poor waste money through impulse, but the truth is far more subtle. Modern society has invented a new, beautifully packaged trap: pseudo-exquisite living. It looks elegant, it feels refined, but it empties your future faster than you can say self-care. Today's young people worship an idea that didn't exist when I was young. If you love yourself, you must buy the best for yourself. It sounds gentle, it sounds enlightened, but it's actually one of the most brilliant marketing strategies ever created. So what happens? People start constructing a lifestyle that exists more for social media than for their own well-being. A $30 coffee every morning, a $500 weekend brunch, a gym membership costing thousands that makes them feel fit without ever stepping inside. Kitchen gadgets used once and then stored as decorative monuments to unrealized ambition. They tell themselves, this is investing in myself. But it isn't investing, it's anesthetic. It numbs the anxiety of not improving without producing any improvement. Let me tell you something from 99 years of watching human behavior. The small, repeated luxuries are far more dangerous than the big purchases because they feel harmless. And the harmless habits are the ones that kill your financial future slowly. A $30 coffee doesn't bankrupt anyone, but $30 every day becomes $900 a month. That becomes over $10,000 a year. And that becomes several $100,000 over a few decades once compound interest does its magic. You're not just drinking coffee, you're drinking your future choices. People think rich men like me avoid these expenses because we're stingy. No, we avoid them because we understand arithmetic. Let me give you an example. I've never needed forest aroma soy candles or sea salt caramel cloud drinks or handcrafted artisan toast. My idea of refinement is reading a good book in silence, not sipping a beverage that costs as much as a small share of a high-quality business. True refinement isn't bought, it's cultivated. It's the discipline of keeping your home orderly, the clarity of cooking your own meals, the calmness of taking a walk in the sunlight, the satisfaction of learning something difficult. These cost almost nothing, but they return almost everything. Consumerism has poisoned the modern mind with a single lie: that simplicity is boring and only expensive things can bring joy. That happiness must be purchased and that self-worth must be accessorized. Now, what a tragedy. If you want to grow wealthy, and more importantly, wise, you must train yourself to detect the difference between real joy and paid stimulation. When you want to buy an expensive scented candle, ask, would fresh air from an open window feel better? When you want to dine at a trendy restaurant, ask, would a simple meal at home nourish me more, and stress me less. When you want a new outfit just because everyone says it's in style, ask, will this still matter when the trend expires in 6 weeks? Each time you choose simplicity over pseudo-exquisite living, you protect two precious things at once, your wallet and your mind. Young people often ask me, Charlie, don't you feel like you're missing out? Missing out on what? Overpriced pastries? Gym memberships people use 3 times a year? The privilege of paying for merchants' marketing budgets? No, I've missed out on nothing. In fact, I've gained something most people never experience, a life where my happiness does not depend on consumption. When you stop paying the lifestyle tax, your money begins working for you. Your future becomes lighter, your choices become wider, and your life, ironically, becomes truly exquisite, quietly, sustainably, intelligently. This is the second poverty tax. Avoid it, and you will step into a class of people who no longer confuse spending with living. There is a tax far more subtle than vanity, far more deceptive than lifestyle inflation, and far more expensive than any luxury item. I call it the IQ tax. Not because it measures intelligence, but because it preys on the illusion of intelligence. And the modern world is full of it. Today, everyone feels anxious. They see their colleagues promoted, their friends posting income screenshots, and strangers online promising a life-changing breakthrough. So they panic. They think they're falling behind. And when fear combines with insecurity, a salesman always appears. He wears a tailored suit, stands beside a rented luxury car, and announces confidently, "Buy my course for $9,999, and I will show you the secret to wealth, success, happiness, and maybe even immortality, if you pay fast enough." He isn't selling knowledge. He's selling an antidote to your anxiety. Let me tell you something only experience can teach. Any knowledge that promises you a shortcut should be treated as a long-term liability. I have read thousands of books in my life, but I have never paid for a course that claims to transform you instantly. Why? Because wisdom has a very inconvenient characteristic. It requires time. It requires thinking. It requires painful self-confrontation. No one can sell you these things in pre-packaged modules. But today, people have become addicted to fast learning, as if knowledge can be microwaved. They keep buying courses, a finance course today, a leadership course tomorrow, a mindset course the day after. They spend a fortune and end up with nothing but a pile of PDFs they never read. It's the intellectual version of buying exercise equipment and using it once a year to hang laundry. Let me give you a metaphor. If you want big muscles, you must lift the weight yourself. No one can do push-ups for you. No one can squat on your behalf. No matter how much you pay them, you can't outsource personal growth. Yet millions try to outsource their thinking. They hope money can do the hard work their brains refuse to do. That is the IQ tax, and it is profitable for the sellers. Here's a question I ask every young person. If someone truly had a guaranteed method to get rich effortlessly, why would they sell it to you for $9,999 instead of using it to become a billionaire quietly? Whenever you cannot answer this question honestly, you are about to pay the IQ tax. Instead of buying overpriced courses, read classic books that have survived decades. Read annual reports from real businesses. Study how actual wealth is created in the world. These cost a fraction of those shiny courses and return a lifetime of value. You don't need a mentor who shouts in short videos. You need teachers like Benjamin Franklin, Adam Smith, Keynes, or the cold arithmetic of corporate financial statements. Those mentors never lie to you. They never exaggerate. They never promise shortcuts. Their words endure because they reflect reality, not fantasy. Here's another truth. The goal of learning is not to feel good. It is to become good. Real learning is slow, uncomfortable, and occasionally humiliating. It forces you to admit your ignorance and confront your limitations. That is why most people avoid it and choose to pay for the illusion instead. When you stop paying the IQ tax, you regain two priceless assets, your money and your clarity. And clarity is far rarer than cash. A mind that cannot be manipulated is a mind that can build wealth. A mind that does not seek shortcuts is a mind that compounds wisdom. Avoid this tax, and you protect not just your bank account, but the most valuable capital you will ever possess, your rationality. After nearly a century on this earth, I've learned one thing. Wealth isn't built by brilliance alone. It's built by subtraction, not by adding more desires, but by eliminating the four traps that quietly drain your life: face, lifestyle, shortcuts, and junk pleasure. Quit these four, and something remarkable happens. Your money grows, yes, but more importantly, your freedom grows. Most people misunderstand the purpose of money. They think it's for buying things, cars, suits, decorations, things that sparkle briefly and disappear quickly. But the real purpose of money is not consumption. It is choice, and choice is the greatest luxury in the world. When you stop spending money for a face, you stop living life according to someone else's scoreboard. You cease performing for strangers who don't care and begin living for values that actually matter. You gain the freedom to walk away from a job you hate instead of enduring it just to maintain a lifestyle you cannot afford. When you stop paying the lifestyle tax, you gain peace. You stop chasing trends you don't need and start building habits that serve you for decades. You sleep better. You breathe easier. You stop drowning in noise disguised as comfort. When you stop paying the IQ tax, you gain clarity. You no longer chase fantasy shortcuts. You no longer swallow junk knowledge wrapped in shiny sales pitches. You begin learning slowly, deeply, honestly. Your mind becomes sharper than any luxury item money can buy. And when you stop paying the junk pleasure tax, the low-quality socializing, the empty stimulation, the dopamine traps, you gain back your most precious non-renewable resource: time. Time to think, time to read, time to invest in skills, in relationships, in yourself. This is what happens when you eliminate the four poverty taxes. Your life becomes lighter, your mind becomes quieter, and your wealth begins to compound, not only in dollars, but in dignity. Let me tell you something quietly profound. Getting rich is not about having more, it's about needing less. Less validation, less comparison, less noise, less fear. When I sit in my old house wearing my old suit, reading a book that has yellowed with age, I feel incredibly rich because everything around me is chosen, not forced by insecurity, not driven by envy, not dictated by fashion. That is the kind of richness money cannot buy. People think I sacrificed enjoyment. They're wrong. I sacrificed nothing. I simply chose my pleasures wisely. Books instead of bragging. Ideas instead of ornaments. Freedom instead of face. If you want to know the true essence of wealth, here it is. Wealth is the ability to live life on your own terms without being harvested by the world's traps. not being manipulated by ads, not being drained by lifestyle inflation, not being fooled by shortcuts, not being chained by vanity. Your money should serve your future, not your fear, not your ego, not the expectations of people who will forget you tomorrow. Quit these 4 taxes, and your financial life will change. But more importantly, your inner life will transform. You will finally step into the only kind of success that lasts beyond money, the quiet freedom of a disciplined mind and a life of your own choosing. And if you reach my age someday, 90, 95, 99, I hope you look back and realize the money you didn't spend, the traps you didn't fall for, the time you didn't waste. Those were the true compounders. They protected you, they shaped you, they made you wealthy in every way that matters. I am Charlie Munger, and I hope you choose this freedom while you still have decades left to enjoy it. As I reach the end of my 99 years, I've come to see life with a kind of clarity that only time can polish. Most people spend their youth chasing things that disappear and spend their old age regretting the things they never built. But if you choose discipline over desire, simplicity over showing off, and long-term over shortcuts, you will live a very different life, a calmer one, a freer one, a life that compounds quietly in your favor. You don't need a luxury car to feel important. You don't need a designer logo to feel worthy. You don't need noise to feel alive. All you need is a rational mind, a steady hand, and the courage to say no to the traps the world sets for you. And one day, as your wealth grows, as your confidence becomes internal instead of purchased, as your life becomes your own, you'll realize what I realized decades ago. The richest feeling in the world is not owning more, but needing less. If my 99 years have given you even one piece of wisdom worth keeping, let it be this: guard your mind, guard your time, and guard your money from stupidity. Do that, and freedom will find you long before fortune does.